That's the secret of Australia winning 5 consistent World Cups back to back. Like creating a workout program or workout regime to an athlete. Have to think about needs analysis. What the athlete X need and what the athlete Y needs. So their needs are completely different. Periodization is very important in the field. You should monitor the periodization. That is very important than rather than you knowing the periodization. Required plyometrics and you do plyometrics, it suits you and your body required strength. You have to obviously go for the strength. If a strength athlete doing plyometrics, he will get good results. If a power athlete doing a strength training, he will get good results. Some guys are lifting very heavy, they have a capability of lifting heavy, very heavy, but he is not able to translate this strength on the track. So you go with the power training like plyometrics. Usain Bolt works on lot of plyometrics. So if I do plyometrics, I will become Usain Bolt. The thing is, everyone have the recovery methods, but they'll neglect them. They'll run behind the fancy things.
And I've also seen your post with Sunil Chhetri sir that you had some testing done on him at Odisha. So what was that moment and what did he share with you? So what was the overall experience with Sunil Chhetri sir? In recent time, you have been the strength and conditioning coach at the High Performance Center, Odisha, working with athletes. And I've seen all your, I've gone through all your LinkedIn posts and everything. So it says that you have been what do you say, key factor in most of the athletes winning the international medals. So let it be track and field, or it might be cricket players. So it's really good to see that India is now focusing on sports sciences, and with your contribution to this field, it's really great. So can you just walk us through your journey as a sports scientist till now?
Yeah, first of all, like I'm science background student. I did my plus one and plus two in science, so everyone knows that. Like after that, I'm getting into the medical field, and it's a little disappointment. I missed the medical seat with a bit marks, like very close to it, like 3 or 4 marks. I missed the seat. So I have other option of dental, but basically I feel like it's not my zone. I was searching for the medical seat, but I failed to get it. So what are the other options? I have other passion of uh, playing sports. I'm a university cricket player. Like I used to play from childhood. So I want to get into sports somehow. I chosen a physiotherapy as an option to get into sports. Like along with the medical, that is the only option to get into the sports. I want to become a sports medicine doctor basically, but it never happened. So I never disappointed. Like something is there in our hands to do better in sports to help athletes.
Mm-hmm.
So I chosen physiotherapy, and after my UG, I decided like physiotherapy is all about now it is bit advanced. If you tell like it is developing even in physiotherapy, they are looking over performance. In initial when I was studying physiotherapy, it's all about the clinical things, and I was a bit pissed off with those things. Like I want to get into sports seriously, but it's like all about clinical stuff. Over there I seen in clinicals and all this. So I decided to do sports physiotherapy. Then we are going to the university tournaments, and unfortunately, I met with some of the guys in the university tournament in Manipal, which is happening. And I was looking over, yeah, it's a good university, everyone knows that. But what are the other things? And I found an interesting course called sports science. It was the first university who introduced sports science in India, affiliation from the other abroad countries. They have a tied up with other abroad countries, and they are the one who started sports science in India. So I was inquired little bit about it when I was in third year of UG. I was decided like you have to do sports science. The reason why I'm choosing sports science at that time is like sports science is completely helping athletes in terms of performance. Physiotherapist will prevent the injuries. They will good. Physiotherapist is one of the biggest pillar in sports. Physiotherapist should be there for every sports player. So apart from that, what are the other key factors? Even so, that's the thing. Like if you don't have injuries in your career, if you don't have anything like any discomfort or pain, it's good for the physiotherapist. But you have a good athletic body to perform, but you are not able to perform. Who will take care of it? Like The then sports science come into play. You have everything good, like you don't have a pain, you don't have any discomfort while playing, and you're not getting injured, like whatever. Like physiotherapist role is confined over that part. Like after that, what is the other things to enhance your sport? Then I choose, and like sports science is the best option for me to interact and to travel along with the players, along with the journey, and to create some impact in their journeys. So that's how the sports scientist come, and I opt for that option. I chosen that option, and
Okay, okay, that's a wonderful journey. You mentioned about becoming a sports medicine doctor, right? So I think back then we had a very limited options of getting into sports through medical side. But now with the Manipal starting the sports science degree, that has opened a lot of doors for many other institutes in India to start a course like this and to take up sports in a more scientific way rather than going through the more conventional way.
yeah, these things already started in abroad. Like if uh, you see, like I will give you a quick example how India is way back than the other countries. You see, like cricket has well developed in India, and every Indian, the passion towards cricket is the next level. No other country follow that passionate cricketers and cricket from the any other countries I love. But if you see India, it's like very passionate towards the cricket. But if you see, there is no sports science, complete sports science involved till now, till the date. There is no complete sports science involved in cricket. What all the thing they
Mm.
are doing is everything is superficial. But I will
Oh.
tell you the reason why Australia is so consecutive winning of World Cups. There is a academy called Bupa National Academy in Australia, which is dealing with the Australian cricketers with the scientific parameters, all the scientific parameters.
Mm-hmm. Acha.
That's the secret of Australia winning five consistent World Cups back to back. Like no one knows, like Australian players are good. You just tell Australian players are good, and yeah, if we are sitting before the TVs and we feel like Australian players are good, they have a capability of winning five World Cups easy. But India has, if you see the population of India, we have a lot of population. Australia is following the scientific principles over the sports. If you want to stop the athlete playing, when to stop and where to stop, they know. They won't burn out the players. I've worked with the cricketers in Bangalore itself, Bangalore also, and so many other places in the grassroots to elite levels, like state and domestic level players. They don't even know what is workload management and what is workload monitoring. They used to bowl 300, 400. As per the research, you should not bowl more than 40 quality balls in a day. That's the research. You have a chances of scapular tears, Bankers injuries, all these things. If you go more than 40 quality balls, people here in India looking for quantity. If you play like 400 balls in a day, you have become a good player, which is completely absolutely wrong. The concept is very wrong. You play like I was apart from the cricket, I was really surprised with the Neeraj Chopra interview recently he has given. You can check it out. He told initially he feel like uh, practice makes you perfect, but he realized and he given a new statement that is very heart touching to me. He told like perfect practice makes you perfect, which is so classic example how it works. So perfect practice makes you perfect, not practice makes you perfect. The terms are changed.
Mm-hmm.
The terms are changed, and now everything is related to that. Now, how perfect you are in the game. Once you get that perfection in your game, you can climb the Everest.
So let's move on from cricket to your training methods to strength and
Yeah.
conditioning things. So, like I'm also an athlete. I used to professionally do 100 meters and 200 meters until my first year of Bachelor of Physiotherapy. So I know inside out how the training goes on a little bit. So yeah, so as a strength and conditioning coach, as a sports scientist, so and also as a physiotherapist, right?
Yeah.
So, how do you balance between an athlete, for example, he's training for some event, and you know that we athlete has to push their limit to perform at the highest level. They have to push their limit. At the same time, we should make sure that they are not injured for during the main event, right? We need to have a balance between pushing your limit, and also the athlete should be injury free. So how do you strike a balance between pushing the limit of the athlete and also making sure that they are not injured?
And here to describe these questions, like to answer these questions, I have two main important things. One is periodization, and other thing is workload management. Both goes
Okay.
on hand on hand. Like both are very important concepts of SNC. Like anyone can describe this exercise. Do you will get faster in the field and do this. But the important thing is when to do and where to do. And one
Hmm.
more important, very very important thing than these two is when to stop it. Yeah. If I tell some exercise to do, you keep on doing, you keep on doing. It's not the right way to approach your goal. You need to question the coach, like, sir, I'm doing this. When athlete having this awareness of questioning the coach, then athlete will definitely he will educate himself and he will develop in future. He have a good progressions when he started questioning the coach. In the sense like, sir, I'm doing this, but why I'm doing this? When I have to stop this? When I have to start this again? Once the athlete understands these things, it doesn't mean athlete has to take all the burden on him and thinking about it. He just like to you being a coach, you have to summarize the athlete. So these
Mm-hmm.
are the exercises which I given at this block, and these are the benefits I'm expecting from these exercises. We'll test end of this block, and we'll see how much you progressed. So it is just like even periodization and workout prescription and what is the other like workload manage monitoring or management. All these three things are not same for every athlete. Suppose you have a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
athletes who are in the same event.
Mm-hmm.
You have a five athletes of who are doing hurdles, 110 hurdles.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone is doing 110 hurdles. But same workout will not work for every five athletes. Like all the bunch of the athletes, like five athletes together. You have to think whenever you are like creating a workout program or workout regime to an athlete. You have to think about needs analysis. What the athlete X need and what the athlete Y need. So their needs are completely different. So first thing when you're designing a program, this is the basic thing you have to keep in mind. What things required for this particular athlete
Mm-hmm.
and what are the things we should avoid for this particular athlete. That is the basic
Mm-hmm.
point. Once you keeping that in your mind, like when you are designing a program, you'll get success automatically.
We
And
cannot
other
bundle
things,
every.
no,
Sorry. We
my
cannot.
body is
Yeah.
yeah, my body is manufactured in some different way. Your body is manufactured in some different because your body adaptations are different. Yeah, I don't know. See, no two persons having a same eating habits. No two persons having a same sleeping patterns. No two persons having a same circadian rhythm. I woke up by 5. Some athlete woke up by 10. It is completely different. So lot of factors are binding around it. If you see the recovery, if you see the adaptation, if you there are like so many scientific concepts like super compensation, all this stuff. So if you talk about it, everything is confined to an athlete, which is not completely same with the other athlete.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important concept. You have to understand an athlete first. You
Okay.
you go
Right.
into athlete zone and you feel the athlete condition.
Mm-hmm.
Then only you can design or summarize a good program to him to get success. Periodization is very important in the field. Like periodization is everything. What I feel like if you periodize properly, and your athlete will get success. periodize and workload management. These two are the basic concepts of SNC and very important concepts of SNC. If you want to become a good SNC, you have to be clean with these two things. And after
Mm.
the periodization, you should monitor the periodization. That is very important than rather than you knowing the periodization. Suppose I periodize you like it is your off season, you are lifting 90% or 95% of your workload. So you are lifting. Suppose if your back squat PB is 100, you are lift. I told you to lift, and this block, the 4 weeks of this block, you have to lift 90% of your PB. So what you choose? Okay, sir told me to lift me 90% of my PB. My PB is 100. So 90 kgs I have to do back squat, half squat or something. So yesterday your practice was postponed. You have to practice your track in the morning. But by mistake, some climatic condition, it is raining in the morning. So you went some work and you are not able to practice in the morning. You practiced in the evening. So, so today evening you are practicing your track session instead of you have to practice today morning, but you practice today evening, and tomorrow morning is your gym session. So
Mm.
athletes like practiced in the evening late night or around, he started around 5, completed around 7:30 or 6, something around 8. So late sometimes it goes on. You see high jump and all, they take little longer time to complete their practice. So you practice what, as an SNC coach I feel ki you did practice in the morning and you will get recovered by like tomorrow morning. Like I am not in the field. Like SNC has to correlate these two things. So athlete
Mm.
came and you are in the same motto. Your periodization is done completely, and you told him ki you have to lift 90 kgs of back squat. Okay, fine. But you doesn't know that athlete practice yesterday evening, not in the morning. So your periodization went wrong. So he can capable of taking 90 kgs of back squat if he practice in the morning. The track session is in the yesterday's morning, but he did track session in yesterday's evening, and now he is not recovered completely. And you are in the same motto that you have to lift 90 kgs, which is not possible by the athlete. That's where athlete breaks. That's what called workload monitoring. People tell there are so many workload management methods like acute chronic workload ratio. All this works, really works, but you have to manipulate your periodization sometimes if it is needed. So then what I will tell, so instead of going 90, go with 75% of your PB. So here lift 75 kgs, which gives more benefit than lifting 90 kgs at that particular time. And if the next session is going in a like a proper scheduled way, then go with the 90. These are the small things. So running is obviously plyometric exercise. So I loaded so much. Your body is like hell now. You cannot take any additional load. And I told you lift 90 as per the periodization. I designed you. Why you are not lifting 90? You have to whenever as a I feel like I feel if you are a good SNC, you can evaluate the athlete body when he is working through the workout room. The door itself you can understand like how tired the athlete is, he recovered from last
Mm.
session or not. Once you grab that thing like how to like evaluate the athlete, you will become a good SNC, and your
Ah.
athlete will get benefits. Being a good SNC or not is like no one can see how many your athletes are getting medals and what place
That
they
is
are getting.
important.
That is very important. Even your athlete not getting medals, if he created a PB in the next year, you're success. You're in success.
Mm.
It is not mean like every athlete is getting gold or silver, then only you become a good SNC. If you are keeping your athletes are keeping their PBs in every event, you got success, man. So everyone
Mm.
chase for the same thing. Everyone chase. We have just 3 medals. Everyone chase for the 3 medals. Who are the best at that point, they will get the medal. Whenever the athlete comes inside the workout room, I'll just ask how was the last session? Whether it is gym, whether it is a track, whether it is a recovery. The first question from my
Mm.
mouth is like I greet them with a good morning or good evening, whatever it is. And the next question
Mm.
is, uh, how was the last session?
Mm. Mm.
You do anything. You You taken completely active rest. Active rest. You just go out cafe. You have some caffeine or coffee, something. What you did last, like yesterday, what you did last night. That plays a vital role to become a good essential coach.
Okay. So you have highlighted very, very important points regarding how, as so for it's for the athletes as well, like asking questions to your coaches about what is important, what training are we doing, and also for strength and conditioning coaches as well, how periodization has to be done and how it has to be monitored. Those are the two important points that actually makes an athlete successful in his or her game, and at the end ultimately we win more medals. So that's the main thing. And the other thing, when you were talking, I have mentioned that you have mentioned about plyometrics, right? So plyometric training, for me personally, I haven't done much of heavy lifting during my sprint training. Plyometric training has given me good results, because whenever I used to do plyometric training, मुझे पता नहीं क्या है, but I used to feel more powerful. I used to feel कि I'm going to dominate the track. I'm going to go like all out. Plyometric training has given me a good result. अगर मैं compare करूँगा weight training से, so what I want you to highlight on this कि अगर for example if someone is watching this podcast and he or she doesn't have access to good gym or anything like that, good infrastructure नहीं है उनके पास, so plyometrics all body based, it's a body based thing. They watch some good videos on YouTube or anything like that. Does single plyometric training can is it, so my question is, क्या plyometric can replace your weight training? Is it an alternative to weight training?
uh, it's like a very scientific thing I want to tell you about this. It's a very good question, by the way. So everyone think I don't have a gym, I don't have a workout room. I'll just go with the
Mm-hmm.
plyometrics, and you see
Uh,
some of the like good players, matlab elite players who represented and who represented Olympics. They are just sub few, not very every athlete, but few. They completely depends on their like plyometric things and they got golds. People
oh,
think
okay.
that is the
Mm-hmm.
wrong way. Your body required plyometrics and you do plyometrics. It suits you, and your body required strength. You have to obviously go for the strength.
Right.
So I will tell you why this barrier. Like people have a misconception. So it's a classic example. There are two kind of people. One is strength athlete, other one is power athlete. So these two things are very important. So how you choose, like if strength athlete is doing a plyometrics, he will be more faster in the field. If strength
Mm-hmm.
athlete is doing, see it's opposite. If a strength athlete doing plyometrics, he will be more faster in the field. If the power athlete doing strength in the gym, he will be faster in the track. I'll tell you the reason why. Again, it's a, like a
Okay.
confusing thing. If a strength athlete doing plyometrics, he will get good results. If a power athlete
Okay.
doing a strength training, he will get good results.
Okay.
It's very tricky to
Mm-hmm.
understand. Let me explain.
There is a,
So
yeah, there is a subtle
yeah,
difference.
yeah. So I'll tell you. How we can say, there is a concept called dynamic strength deficiency.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Got it? The dynamic strength deficiency. How we test? We take isometric mid-cycle and we take a counter moment jump. Isometric mid-cycle will give you an output of how strength you are, like how much force you are producing, and counter moment jumps gives you like how fast you are producing that force.
Okay. Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
these two things are different. Suppose a person is having a more isometric strength or something like a isometric mid-cycle, what we usually prefer to do. So if he is having more towards that and lack of counter momentum, the explosive strength. Counter
Mm-hmm.
momentum simply denotes the explosive strength. So this is isometric strength and this is explosive strength. You are having a capability of producing like huge amount of force with the isometric mid-cycle. So
Mm.
basically, you have a enough strength, but you
Mm.
don't have a that property of converting that strength into power. So if the guy is doing
Ah.
plyometrics, that will help him. But if you're having a like power, you if you're having enough power, you're converting every whatever the strength you are having, you are converting into power. Like more than that, if a guy is having a higher counter movement jump and lower this thing, what we say, isometric strength or isometric movement, when
Isometric
you're doing it,
strength.
strength, basically strength. So he has power, but he doesn't have a strength. Then you have to focus on strength.
Mm.
It doesn't mean
Okay.
plyometric suits you or plyometric doesn't suits you. You have to see where is the athlete, what is
Mm.
his capability of doing and what is his non capability of doing. Those things.
On which
What
side
you
he
are good
is
at.
right.
Yeah.
Mm.
If you catch the dynamic strength index, there are different ways to measure dynamic strength index. Then your
Mm.
access selection comes into play. That SNC has to take a lead. What kind of exercises should I put in this block for this guy? If his
Mm.
reactive
Right.
strength is good enough, his strength is wonderful. Right? He can react very fast and he can generate lot of force in a shortest span of time. But he's not able
Mm.
to generate the strength. Like he's not able to make the reactive strength. What is the reason? He doesn't have a
Mm.
strength.
Mm.
How did he convert into reactive strength? Understand?
Mm. Mm.
For that guy, you have to focus on the strength based workouts.
Mm.
But some
Right.
guys are lifting very heavy. They have a capability of lifting heavy, very heavy. They do 200 kg squat. They do like 200, 300 deadlifts. So like he goes mad on the gym, but he is not able to generate. He not able to translate this strength on the track. So you go with a power training, like a plyometric training.
Mm. Right. Right.
Then it works. The concept goes in and around these two things. Once you catch, you
Mm.
have to see whether this athlete is strength athlete or this athlete is power athlete. Once you find out these two
Mm.
different things, you have an idea. So it is just like you have a deficit of something, you have to take borrow from someone and like the other training methods, you just chip in there.
That's it.
That creates you
Right. Right.
the deficit, that fulfills
Right.
your deficit. So you have to work on your deficit. It is like Usain Bolt works on lot of plyometrics. So if I do plyometrics, I'll become Usain Bolt, which is wrong concept.
क्योंकि as Indians we try to see something and we form some mindset कि अच्छा ठीक है if Usain as you said Usain Bolt ये कर रहा है तो मुझे भी यही करना है तो so that is
Yeah,
a wrong approach towards your training.
that's what we are lacking behind of scientific things. Usain Bolt वो
Ah,
किया
right.
क्यों किया? Yeah, scientific research. He did
Right.
scientific research
Right.
and you're just a white paper and you want to turn मैं ये कर दिया तो ये बन जाएगा, ये कर दिया तो ये बन जाएगा. It is not like that. If you want
Right.
your life to become colorful in the sense like look over the medals, you are just a white paper. What kind of color or what kind of paint you have to do on your that white paper, that is very important. You use
Ah,
glitters,
right.
you use normal colors, you use some different different things. You use crayons or sketch pens or like, what kind of coloring you should do. That is very important to
Right.
make get the paper beautiful. It's simple as that. That's what like
Right.
even I've seen lot of essences. वो ये कर रहे हैं तो हम ये करेंगे हमारा एथलेट को like we'll get a benefits, which is wrong. You have to just examine
Okay.
what kind of athlete you have. Whether he is good in plyometrics, then don't focus on plyometrics. If he's good in if he's good in reactive strength, why to focus more on the reactive strength? So if suppose if you rate the athlete in a plyometrics of 1 to 10, he's already at 9.
Hmm.
If you keep on working in plyometrics, you just increase 1%, which is negligible.
That's it. Hmm.
If athlete strength is, if you evaluate the athlete on strength basis, is just around 3 out of 10. If you work on strength, he
Hmm.
has much more room to develop. He's already 9 in
Hmm.
like explosive strength, But in the normal strength, he doesn't have explosive strength. Is good enough. If you work on, you'll get 1% of difference. But if you work on strength, along with this, if you are maintaining this explosive strength, you can create a wonders. You can create a wonders. Simple. That's what in the start of the podcast I told. Needs analysis is very important. What you need is
Hmm.
different from what other guy need. Yeah, people look so dramatic way. This guy is doing this guy is doing this, so we have to do this. It is not like that. What works for you, find out that. Your requirement you have
Right.
to find out first and work on it.
So let's talk about some recovery strategies. As an athlete, we are like, what do you say? Apna body ko na, we have to go through a lot of stress through the body. Like you practice in the morning, then your evening session, you have your strength training, you have your track. अगर आप track and field के तो you have your track and field training, and it goes on like this. So you're keeping your body on a lot of stress, right? And that's where your recovery strategies are really really important for you to recover properly and get back next day in your 100%. आपका जो 100% है वो आपको फिर से वापस आना चाहिए, तो your recovery should be very very important. So what are your go to recovery strategies for the athletes that you do normally? And so is there anything you normally we go for ice bath and anything like that? So do you do your recovering strategies a little different at the HPC Odisha, where that has given you good results?
See, if you are coming to the recovery strategies, my blind belief, but not blind belief, it is like my open eye belief. Uh, I ask my athlete to fuel themselves properly and sleep. These are the two
Hmm.
things. These are the two
Hmm.
things. We
Hmm.
have so many recovery methods. I tell you, you don't even believe the infra over Odisha is like next level. You never seen
Hmm.
anywhere in part of the India. The infra in
Hmm.
Odisha, like whatever the technical stuff I'm using, whatever for the recoveries is the next level. I'm telling you, we are the Odisha as a state in the part of sports, it overtake every state. I believe I'm so fortunate to working in this kind of setups. But the thing is, everyone have the recovery methods, but they'll neglect that. They'll run behind the fancy
Hmm.
things.
Hmm.
They'll run behind the
Hmm.
ice
Hmm.
bath. They run behind the cryotherapy. They run behind the
Hmm. Hmm.
massage. They run behind the shock waves. They
Sona
run
bath.
behind they run behind the sauna bath. Whatever you say, but they don't know we have a much more important food or something in our hands, but we are running behind the supplements.
Hmm.
It is just like that. You have enough source of protein. I will give you a dietary example to correlate these two things, recovery and this thing. Suppose you need some 100 grams of protein in your daily diet. You're getting that enough amount of whatever you need, but you are avoiding that and you are going for the supplement is always a supplement, but the two main sources for the recovery is sleep and refueling.
Hmm.
These are the two main options. You do those two things properly, you'll almost 90% recovered. That 10% deficient,
Um,
you go with ice bath, you go with the cryotherapy, you go with sauna, you go with the massage, you go with the some other stuff, active recovery, pool sessions, whatever the things. That is only the 10%. But the main 90% of the recovery comes from your food and comes from your sleep. People neglect that.
hmm.
But they want to feel that 10% where they are avoiding this 90% of getting recovered. So
Right, right, right.
if you have a good food, like whatever the things you like exhausted your carbohydrate sources in your body, just refuel carbohydrates. You break down your muscle today. Just refuel with the protein. It's simple. If you have some inflammation things and all the stuff, refuel with some healthy fats. It's you have
Right,
some
right.
like any other dishes, refuel with that. The basic sources and the best God gifted. Everyone has that what we call recovery instrument in our body itself. They made it by own. It's a sleep. Take proper sleep.
Mm. Right,
proper
right.
sleep to get recovered. Rest of after that, the 10% you run behind any fancy source, any fancy source. You what you like. That's a placebo effect. If you say, sir, if I take ice bath, I feel I'm fresh, I'm
I
recovered.
feel good.
Sir, if I take,
Ah, right.
yeah, if I take cryotherapy, I feel good. Sir, if I take massage, I feel good. It's rest of the 10% is a in the 10%,
Placebo
5%
effect.
is placebo effect and 5% really works for it. People run behind those fancy things just to fulfill that 5% and they neglect 90% of the things. That's very simple. That's a
Okay.
classic example. I have so many recovery methods you don't even believe. I'm following these many recovery methods. It's just to cover that
Hmm.
5% of the barrier. But initially, after
Hmm.
my session, I'll tell have your proteins, have your supplements, have your good food, and sleep properly. You will recover for the next session.
Right, right. So athletes, please. So Surya sir has told a very, very important point. Please don't rush behind all this. The 10% of what Surya sir has mentioned कि ये 10% के पीछे मत भागिए जो आपका 90% where the chunk is कि आपको proper sleep चाहिए और आपका proper rehydration food जो भी important है focus on that. And this 10% thing, if ये अगर 90% balance हो गया है, then you run behind this 10% for your fancy things. So all this while we had a good conversation about athletes, how they can improve on their performance and everything, right? So now, because sports science is a relatively new degree introduced to India, so can you highlight some points about the sports science degree, about the various branches of sports science, and what are the streams that they can choose if they have taken the sports science as a degree in the bachelor's or even in the master's?
So yeah, it is like very new course in India. Like very few batches are passed out from my college. Personally, I feel, and very few more colleges are opening up, and they are not at the students are not at passed out from their college. They're still in studying. They are in college right now. But sports science is like a holistic approach of performance enhancement. It's all about like how you develop your athlete in a holistic approach. They have different branches like SNC is one of the branch in sports science, and biomechanics is one of the branch in sports science. Exercise physiology is one of the branch in sports science. Nutrition is one of the branch in sports science. Sports psychology is one of the branch in sports science. The people who did bachelor degrees, they can master in any one of that. So if you are from any science background, you are from the medical or dental or you're from any allied health sciences, you can go directly with the masters in sports science. So where you study about SNC, which is completely uh, NSCA related, or like some principles of ASCA, what are the certificate the people are doing. Along with SNC, you can able to study exercise physiology and sports nutrition, sports psychology a bit, but biomechanics is like a very big branch in the sports science. And all the rest of the supplement courses like you do like then and there workshops and all this they are included in the package like sports analysts, sports analysis, sports management. These are the like minor things, but the major things of sports science is SNC, exercise physiology, sports biomechanics, and sport nutrition. And we have a different fields like sports psychology is a separate, but you have an idea like what is sports psychology. That is not your main meal, but your main meals are like these three.
Okay, so so for example, I have done my bachelor's in like arts or something like that, and still I can just go on internet and like type I want to become a strength and conditioning coach, and Google gives you a lot of results. That's where like CSCS, right? So
Yeah.
CSCS is something that most of the people are doing right now, coming not from a scientific like a medical background or not coming from a sports background. They just do this CSCS and they claim themselves as strength and conditioning coach. I've seen it a lot कि बहुत लोग CSCS करके they are giving training. So what is the difference between doing a certification course as CSCS and doing a bachelor's degree or a master's degree in sports science?
you do CSCS. I will tell you the difference between the guy who are doing CSCS from the arts background and the guy who is doing a master's in sports science. So if you want to become a good SNC, if you want to become a SNC and good SNC is different. If you want to become a good SNC, so SNC principles, you know SNC principle. You did training, you got this effect, and you have these benefits with this exercise. But if you want to become good SNC, you should know you given this training, you got this effort, but how long this effort can persistent, and it is really working in your body, and it is really showing benefits in your body, like the athlete body. So you need exercise physiology for that. Understand? You given exercises like what are the adaptations of that exercises, with CSS and whatever the stuff as an SSU. But if you become a good exercise physiologist, then you can become a good SNC. So initially, before starting my career as an SNC, I was so fascinated to do SNC stuff. I want to become a strength and conditioning coach and all. But before that, I worked I did masters in sports science, and I worked. I took an additional internship. I was like not expecting any stipend or something. I just went to a scientific center and I worked as an exercise physiologist to become a good SNC. I can directly start my career like as an SNC because I have the degree things and I can apply. I can become SNC somewhat, but I don't want to be. I don't. I want to become a good SNC, so I went to some scientific center where they're having all scientific things. I know how to operate the scientific things. So first, initially, I want to become a good exercise physiologist, then biomechanist, then I want to become an SNC. Then I want to become an SNC. So SNC can see access, inputs, outputs, and what are the benefits. But if you have a knowledge of biomechanics, I'm telling you, if you have a knowledge of biomechanics, so your body mechanics is different. How you translate that force is different in the game. So if you given this access according to his body structure, not every human is same, not every human being is same, their range of motions are same. So according to his body angles, how this exercise will benefit him on the track. So if you know biomechanics of his body, so you can understand, okay, this workout doesn't suit for him because his body mechanics is completely different from the other guy. So if you have a proper sports biomechanics knowledge, sports biomechanist, if you have a good enough knowledge, fair knowledge about sports biomechanics, so you can become a good SNC. If you have a knowledge of exercise physiologist, you can become a good SNC. In the same way, if you have a knowledge of good SNC, you can become a good exercise physiologist. So if you have done CSCS, you have a good knowledge of SNC. You are just thinking only in the view of how SNC sees, but you
Mm.
don't look for the other parameters.
I myself a very big fan of Sunil Chhetri sir. He's the like flag bearer of the Indian football right now, and Indian football is doing really really well currently. And so whenever I see him, it always gives me goosebumps, frankly speaking, because I think he's around 40 years, but still he is so active on the field, leading the Indian contingent is amazing. So, and I've also seen your post with Sunil Chhetri sir that you had some testing done on him at Odisha. So what was that moment, and what did he share with you? So, what was the overall experience with Sunil Chhetri, sir?
So he is very polite and so grounded athlete. Like is top class athlete. I've seen he like what do you say like athletes of international level at is behaving like I don't have anything. Okay. Just he'll come, he'll talk. If he don't know anything about the scientific equipment, he'll ask why you we are doing this and what is the benefit we are getting. And that guy is so energetic and he is so calm as well. Whenever he's like he want to be calm, he will turn off the different mode. And whenever the people are around, the teammates are around, he'll encourage them like, yeah, you see different. The seriousness and the commitment towards the game is completely different. I was so surprised. Yeah, I've seen so many. like interviews of Sunil Chhetri. You're so passionate till now what he's doing. If he's a 40 years age and all the Indian team athlete which I tested along with Sunil Chhetri, it's like very youngsters, 25, 23, and 27. It's just like that. You are just the booming career. Like that's the peak point of your career. But he's 40 and every time he challenges the athlete. So that's what he's encouraging his teammates. Like what is your jump height on the fourth plate? Sir, 32. See, I'll make 40 and show you. Like, he did 40 and showing other people. Like, it's like, I'm doing 40 at the age of 40. And how come you are just doing 22 or
Uh,
23? Just push yourself, man. And he is pushing the athlete. He is like a background for all the athletes to get a good results. Like honestly,
right, right.
captain qualities, what I've seen on him, and how to handle the pressure situation, how to like encourage the person without demoralizing them. That is the basic. That is
Hmm.
a good concept. That is a good quality of him. Like how to encourage the
Hmm.
person, like how to push the person without demoralizing them. See, people. I've seen so many captains like if he's not playing, Arey, you cannot play like this. You get out of the team and all this stuff. But he will do the same effort in a different way, in a different positive way. The positiveness around him is next level. Next level. However, I was a good deep convo with Indian football essentially also, and his inputs are mesmerizing. When he is traveling with the team, the energy levels of Sunil is just mind blowing, and he wants to know everything. Like even in 40, even I'm pretty much sure. Like even he crossed 50s, he maintained the same energy levels. I know. Every day he's getting older. He want to get fit. That's I was surprised the seeing the capabilities of 40 years guy doing that good results. Yeah, it's so good. And all
Good.
the teammates are taking him as an inspiration. Like Sir is doing is top and he is playing from long time and now anyway with 40 obviously the human capabilities will come down. But he is doing much more better than us. Why can't we? Thinking capability of the teammates will change. Obviously, if you have a right king or right ruler in your path, people are happy. People can see success. I feel personally like he's a good human as well as good athlete. Not good, he's an excellent athlete. Like what I say, he'll push all the time. But
He's a
in the
beast.
same way,
Right now, he's a beast. Unstoppable player.
yeah. You cannot in future also not be. The results are like that. It's a bit of like confidential. I should not like tell more about it, but it's he's really good in the what he's doing.
Before we end the podcast, I've also heard about your new startup, Cricket Sciences. It's really good. It's like I've seen it. So, do you want to share a little information? You can brief us about Cricket Sciences.
That's what we want to bring it into a limelight. What are the scientific stuff we have? What are the technical things we have? How can we use that? We want to show it in front of everyone. So that's what we made it, and Instagram as an our base to reach the people. And on soon we are onboarding with some physical facilities, so once we get into it, we'll give the information in the next podcast, like what are the facilities we are giving and how it develop an athlete. Yes, I see that being a cricketer, I love playing cricket, so we named it as a cricket sciences because there are a lot of science which is not available in our country, even in well-developed sport. So we want to make every like normal player who is playing for recreation also, they will develop, and that's how you turn from recreation to professional sports player. Once you show interest, like that's the reason. Like all the recreation, everyone comes from the recreational sport. You start it as a recreation. You start it for your development. You started to develop. You started to lose your weight, or you started to make yourself active. That's from there you turn to represent a country. Just don't take it any silly things. If you're playing, just play it with a passion. If you're studying, study with a passion. It's just like that.
To all the viewers who are watching this, please go and follow Cricket Sciences on Instagram and also on different platforms that you are. So that whenever Cricket Sciences are officially, when they have their own infrastructure, you guys are aware of it and you can always support them. And I wish you all the very best
Yeah.
for your startup, Cricket Sciences.
Yeah, it is like, yeah, we are getting a good result from the people, and people are coming to us. They are asking, analyze my skills, and we did for many international players. Right now, we did for domestic level to international players, and I don't want to take out their names. That's like this thing, and but they are getting benefited with them, and we are every year we are passing through. We started in 2019 when the COVID like is on the boom, so that's one biggest barrier to come across a startup for the startups. Every startup, the period is very lacking. We are way behind at that time. So we crossed that and we are starting to establish new things. And it is just to educate the sports player, educate the people who are watching sports. It is just to implement the new strategies and simply bring up the sports in a scientific way.
Thank you so much guys for listening to this particular episode of Fit with Shubham podcast. आई होप जो इन्फॉर्मेशन सर ने शेयर किया है आपको बहुत ही इन्फॉर्मेटिव था. अगर आपको ये एपिसोड पसंद आए तो प्लीज़ इस वीडियो को लाइक कीजिए और कमेंट में ये बताइए कि आपको इस पर्टिकुलर एपिसोड में क्या आपको अच्छा लगा और क्या बुरा लगा, ताकि हम हमारे नेक्स्ट वीडियो में और इम्प्रूवमेंट कर सकें. अगर इस एपिसोड से आपको थोड़ा भी वैल्यू ऐड हुआ है तो एटलीस्ट एक दोस्त के साथ शेयर कीजिए जो इससे बेनिफिट होगा. You can also listen to this particular episode on Spotify, Google Podcast, Amazon Music and Apple Podcast. So until then, keep smiling and stay healthy.